If you want to be able to buy the most expensive players and open the best packs in FC24, go to u7buy.com to buy your EA FC24 coins. It's cheaper than buying FC points and just as reliable. With their already amazing prices, you can get an extra 6% using promo code Inception at checkout. Okay guys, so we just finished doing the attacking mid connection one. Now we're going to go ahead and do the defensive mid connection, which again has some pretty solid improvements, especially for people going in the sentimental route or for people that obviously just want to get really solid players, right? So some of the selections that you guys see here are going to be some of these cards right here, right? Some really solid options, right? Yaya Toure. This is different compared to like the attacking mid one, because the attacking mid one we were looking at, it gives more attacking stuff obviously, but this one gives you more defensive capabilities. So this one gives you the +1 in the weak foot, and then it gives you anticipate, incisive pass, pinged pass, quick step. So a lot of these play styles for a defensive player, it kind of makes more sense. In the attack, it depends on if you actually end up using them as like a center mid, right? But I mean, these are very good play styles to give some very key players, right? Like with Yaya Toure, if you were to go down this route, it kind of just makes more sense now. At this point, would I want to use a card like this that has lower agility and balance in this sense? Probably not, but the massive increase to play styles the card receives with, you know, maybe a potential evolution in the future too, could be a really cool thing, right? Because the weak foot improvement is nice. Quick step to work with players when you're defending with them is great. Anticipate for more possession-based challenge as much as possible in this game, because it's really chalked when it comes to manual defending. Incisive pass plus is really nice. Pinged pass is also really nice, right? So passing play styles in the midfield setup would be a really nice thing. And remember that he is a mostly lengthy player, providing him that shadow chemistry style, putting him in a pretty solid spot, right? So not a bad selection if you want to go down that route. Would I go with Yaya Toure in a general sense with where his dribbling is at? Maybe not, but it depends on the person, right? Ramirez gets an improvement that puts him at a 90, right? So in comparison to the fantasy card, the main difference is probably going to be in playstyles, right? Because if you go to the fantasy card, he has intercept plus and he also has the pinged pass plus. I'm going to tell you guys this right now, that if you have this version of Ramirez, especially after those improvements, this Ramirez cooks in game, right? I don't know if you guys have used him recently, but after the improvements, he is an incredible card to use in the game, 100%, right? Because Chelsea gets that like super last minute goal, but you get a cheaper alternative here, right? With the cheaper alternative, you get some pretty significant stat decreases, right? Before a free evolution, that's what you're going to be getting, right? So you get those different play styles. He still has a lot of really good stuff to work with, obviously, right? Intercept plus, chip shot, slide tackle, press proven, anticipate, quick step. Like as a midfielder, he still looks really nice, especially if you give him the shadow chemistry style. He still has a high pace. He still has really good defensive stats, but you would just be working with lower finishing capabilities in a general sense, right? So, but there's possibilities with this card, right? You give him that weak foot improvement, which definitely adds to the card as well, right? Because from this card over here, he's a 4-star, 3-star. So now you turn him into a 4-star, 4-star. So he's a better all-rounded midfielder, right? But people are maybe will prefer to use like different cards in that area too. But again, not a bad choice, right? Marchisio, again, from the base card, gets a massive increase as well. This time it turns him into a 4-star, 5-star player. And again, for a cheaper alternative in comparison to the fantasy card, because the fantasy card on the market would be a card that costs 178k with anticipate plus and block plus. This card has the incisive pass plus, right, while working with some normal stuff elsewhere. Shadow chemistry style to increase the pace on this card to a 94 acceleration, 92 for sprint speed, puts him in a pretty solid spot while giving him the defensive increase. Not too bad there either, right? So high work rates to work with a 5-star weak foot could be really cool while being a 5'11" player as well, but your shooting would just be on the lower side. So you'd probably use him mainly as like a stay back, cover center, cut pass lane type of CDM next to somebody else, because they actually gave him some decent play styles to work with, right? He still has intercept, he still has long ball pass and passing play styles in general. So the usability of this card is still 100% there for a more cheaper alternative, right? This card is extinct in the market because of the fact that he's a cheaper alternative, right? So on the shadow chemistry style, you know, the improvements on the evolution is definitely a pretty nice improvement on him, right? Especially for people that want to get some easy links within their squad. Enzo Fernandez gets another card too. So this is from the winter wild card version. I don't know if he's going to get a team of the season, to be honest with you. It's hard to say with him, right? So if you want a more usable version of Enzo Fernandez, you know, providing him with the shadow chemistry style to make him at a 95 acceleration, 88 for sprint speed, massive increase in defense, the usability of the card is a little bit higher. Again, probably a card I would use as a stay back CDM in a 4-2-3-1. You know, basically being that card that just passes the ball like an absolute monster while working with the more defensive player next to him. So let's say, for instance, I had like a Chouameni, right? And he's the medium high work rated player in that 4-2-3-1 setup. And I'm using this Enzo on the left-hand side because of the 5-star weak foot. The usability of the card is still 100% there, right? He has the passing capabilities. This card is 100% going to be extinct because as an improvement from base card stats, he looks pretty good, because the key thing here is all the crazy passing play styles that they give him while working with all of these really insane play styles, right? Like he has a bunch of stuff to work with too, right? So can't really go wrong with that direction if you are working with like some sort of Chelsea team, some sort of past and present Benfica team, something like that, right? Declan Rice gets the improvement from the inform card. So this card over here, also, this is from the SBC, isn't it? Oh, so you can finally improve him too. So you get the incisive pass and you get more play styles. In comparison to the fantasy card someone you have to pack, and he was a little bit more expensive, yeah. And the fantasy card has intercept plus and anticipate, which I think is way more of a bigger difference, to be honest with you. But yeah, if you've still been holding on to that Rice card, you can finally put him into an evolution that actually gives him some pretty significant boosts in a lot of areas, to be fair. But if you are going to be working with some sort of Arsenal team, it's hard to say, right? Because the fantasy stops upgrading at some point after the upgrades, right? But then with this card, maybe an evolution comes out in the future that makes them even better. It's hard to say, right? But even still, playstyles wise for the meta guys, like this card just kind of makes more sense. But I mean, at the end of the day, this card still has the regular stuff as well, right? So for a cheaper alternative for people that are building that sort of team with like some Arsenal players, not bad either, right? But there is also that other one from the inform that doesn't have any playstyle. You would just add the one playstyle to him, and that's more so for people that didn't do that Declan Rice SBC during that time period, I guess, right? What else we got here from Declan Rice? Conte, that's from the SBC, I believe. Or no, the inform card. The SBC was way higher in rating, so that's not going to be something that you can improve right away. But from the inform improvement, that pace is just too low. I would just completely ignore that at this point. Witsel gets a pretty significant improvement. He gets the playstyle plus is being added to the card. You know, for the Atletico Madrid player, you can't go wrong because it's hard to see Witsel getting new cards as well. Not really sure how well he's been doing in the league in general for him to get like a team of the season, but it's still a mostly lengthy player with higher pace, better defensive stats, good physical capabilities, and they did give him more play styles to work with defensively to be a pretty solid card. And then you could potentially use them as like a CDM as well in your team. It wouldn't necessarily be a horrible choice, but more so if you're going with that sort of concept in your squad as well, right? Thuram, who used to be an absolute monster last year, not really sure how he is this year, but he gets a pretty significant improvement too. So as a midfielder, he's a high work rate player, 4-star, 4-star. He is tall, which is very nice. On a shadow chemistry style, he's a lengthy player as well, which is a W, right? So good pace, defensive stats massively increased, good physical capabilities, and he has more passing play styles and more like center mid oriented stuff for him to be a decent card in game. 4-star, 4-star, high, good stamina. Yeah, it looks like a CDM that you keep on stay back while attacking to play next to the proper medium high, or you use them in a 4-3-2-1 on stay on box, or stay back while attacking, stay on edge of box, and then you basically just use his work rates to kind of help you out in the build up, pushing forward with the passing stuff, because he has really good passing play styles, right? So not too bad there as well if you want to go down that route. Okay, we back. We back. What else we got here? Ooh, Zakaria. Zakaria. Holy. Inform card, formidable inform, unleashing potential into defensive mid connection. Strangely formatted. 99 sprint speed. What is that? Why do they even build card? Like, I get it. Like, they try to do like the real life stuff, but I mean, you still got to give this card a shadow. You would have to strictly use him as a defensive player if you were to do this. But hey, for the Swiss guys, can't go wrong, man. Can't go wrong. What else we got here? Fred. Fenerbahce inform improvement for the Super League players. He actually looks pretty decent. Not bad, eh? Defensive stats in a good spot, high acceleration, just an agile type of midfielder. He is small though. He is small, so you definitely have to mention that for sure. Because the smaller players at the end of the day, guys, it's always nice to have like the taller guys. Let's be real. It's just the vibes, right? This card actually gets the improvement as well. Unleashing potential defensive mid. Isn't this the same guy that had the other evolution? It was the fullback swap one for him. Yeah, but this one looks a little bit better for sure. Good playstyles as well. He has a lot of passing playstyles, eh? Anticipate as well. Not too shabby. Benacer. Oh my goodness. Who remembers that card, bro? By the ways, if this guy doesn't get any sort of future card at all, this is actually a pretty decent card. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, because this card, I completed the SBC and I was actually using him on that first owner RTG for a while, and this card was cooking for me, bro. Like, I'm not even kidding. I was actually like really surprised at how well he was performing in game. So it's cool that he finally gets a relevant evolution to his card that drastically improves him, because, you know, sure, he doesn't have the sprint speed, which you would notice in all fairness, 100%. But this card's interesting, guys, because base mechanics wise, he actually does offer you defensive capabilities, even though he's a high medium work rated card. It's very, very interesting with the way that he works in game. But yeah, the passing with this card during that time period was really cool. Maybe he gets an evolution in the future to further improve the card, make him a nice little triple upgrade on the playstyle pluses. Who knows, right? Who knows? But that's not a bad choice either, man. Like I said, I had that radioactive card for a while, and he was pretty nice. He was definitely pretty nice. Tonali, I wouldn't look into too much. I think this card needs like a sort of SBC or something for him to be really nice. I'm super surprised they haven't done like a promo card for Tonali and then just give him all the right playstyles, because there was like a, what was it, like last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. He was an absolute monster, but I remember using that rare gold card in the beginning of the year. I'm like, this card doesn't even come close to my boy Chouameni, not even close to him, you know? Another, I was about to say Swiss player. This guy's not Swiss. He's from Tunisia. Yeah, see, this is the thing about the evolutions, right? The cool part about it is that for people that are actually building like a Tunisian team, like if you are Tunisian, right, you can make probably a really cool evolution team by now, right? Because these guys do not have any sort of players at all, right? So it's like, oh, Kazri, I want this guy to be as good as possible, right? Let's say you put him into Atomic Ace, right? A usable version of his card, right? For people this is the whole point of the evolutions, is for cards that you think will never get players, right? I tell this to people all the time, but like for me, it would be like someone like Romario Botto, right? This card over here has gone all the way up to a pick it up 93 rated. The card is still not that crazy, in all fairness. Like we do have to mention this, but you know, that's what we mean, right? Secret stuff, 5-star, 4-star for him, right? Golden glow up, unleashing potential, secret stuff. Puts him at a specific spot too, but it's still not that crazy of a card, right? But that Kazri card, like usable wise, if you're building that sort of team, then you know that's kind of like why you would do the evolutions, right? For those specific players, in my opinion. Camavinga. Okay, so this is different now, because I think before was this card, right? Yeah, so this card got the evolution for fullback swap, right? And then there was this one, who now gets the evolution for, or not this one, excuse me. This one gets the evolution for the midfielder one. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, honestly. It's not bad whatsoever. I mean, you give him a Shadow Chemistry style, you use him specifically as a CDM, you don't really push up that much with him, then yeah, he could still be very solid. They give him the right defensive stats. The pace is in a decent area. Decent play styles to work with. No defensive ones, though, but right, he could get some improvements in the future. This finally has received an evolution. So during that time period of when I reviewed the player moments card, I mentioned, hey guys, you know, like this card feels a certain way right now, but in the future he could potentially get an evolution. So we finally reached that point where he gets an evolution. They do give him an anticipate to work with. He has an intercept, right? This card on a shadow chemistry style, working with high acceleration, sprint speed, as well as defensive stats, puts him in a pretty good area as a midfielder that you would keep in that CDM position, right? Medium high work rates, pace significantly higher. You could technically go in the route of giving him an anchor chemistry style too to boost the acceleration, sprint speed, while giving him the physical as well, because he's basically that medium high stay back sort of midfielder, right? So finally get an improvement for that card as well. Essien gets an improvement from unleashing potential into defensive mid connection. In comparison to the Golasso card has more shooting capabilities, but if you don't really often shoot with the card and you're just using him for a back-to-back CDM that's mostly on stay back while attacking, and it's not a horrible option, right? Not the most ideal, but not a horrible option. This one I wouldn't care about. I think it's the other one I would care more about. It'd be this one. Yeah, if you could evo this card, that'd be cool, but this one I wouldn't really be... Actually, let's see here. In comparison to that other card, what is he? Mostly lengthy, 86, 89. Yeah, that's kind of like outdated. McAllister does get the improvement as well. So you'd mostly compare this to like the Showdown card, right? Shadow chemistry style, giving him some good defensive boost as well as some pace. Like if you didn't do the Showdown card and you're a Liverpool fan, that's not a bad option to go with as well. And then you have some other ones like Goretzka and stuff too that have received some cards. Unleashing potential, defensive mid correction. I don't know what Goretzka is like this year, but I know that people would mostly unlock this card just for the links to someone like Alphonso Davies or Joshua Kimmich, right? Kimmich... Does Kimmich improve since they progressed, or how does that work? Did he go up? I actually don't remember. I don't know, because I have him on the SBC account just in case, but... Some pretty significant improvements, to be fair, right? If he does. It's the road to the final, right? So that's what I'm thinking there. Kessié, Chan gets one too. Unleashing potential, defensive mid connection. Giving him a shadow chemistry style to boost defense and pace. Puts him in a good area. 5-star weak foot, medium high. Good defensive play styles as well for people that are building some sort of Borussia Dortmund team. So yeah, there's gonna be a few options here for sure. Definitely gonna be a few options you could potentially work with. Let's see this as a last resort to see what some cool options could be here. So we'll go to defensive mid. Zakaria, Richardson gets one. Defensive mid correction from the 87. Okay, so you can further improve that card. Same thing with Magasa, you can do as well. Richie gets one. CDM. 4-star weak foot on that card. Matic gets a 6. Oh, Matic is actually usable now. Look at that. Oh, that's a really significant upgrade. From the what? Really? Let me see this card, bro. That's actually really sick that they improved him that much. Is that what he was working with initially? 81 pace? Because if so, that's pretty cool that they did that. Because obviously he'd be like the CDM in the team. And then you put him into defensive mid. Sentimental value and for like a CDM. It doesn't look bad, eh? No intercept and stuff, though. That would definitely be really cool on the card, but hey. Not too bad to go that direction if you wanted to. Chan, Sissoko gets one too. Sissoko with some pretty significant improvements. Both versions as well for that card. Witzel, we've seen. Kessié gets one for the Saudi. You can't go wrong with Kessié, right? For the Saudi League players. But I'm not sure what they'll do with the team of the season with those cards, right? So Bruno Guimaraes actually gets another one too from that SPC. That was a long time ago. Long time ago for that card, but finally gets the improvements with different play styles, right? Declan Rice from the Inform. Danilo Pereira finally gets one too. Look at that. Nice little cheeky past and present FC Porto squad with Ruben Neves and Danilo Pereira playing in the midfield. Take me back, bro. Take me back. Unleashing potential. No. Back to front line. No, I feel like this one would be better, right? Yeah. You give it to this card, Shadow Chemistry Style. Probably performs pretty well in game for a CDM, medium high, maybe. You know? Maybe. Ramirez and stuff we've already looked into. Wijnaldum gets into a 90 rated. Genie Wijnaldum. T gets one. Benacer. Conor Gallagher gets one. Conor Gallagher is put into a more usable area too, so that's not too bad. McAllister. Palinga, dude. Oof. Palinga, by the ways, this card is a beast, and he's like 10k. 17.5k. You can evo this guy? No way. You could put him into Unleashing Potential. That's hilarious. I'm not even joking. This guy's actually like a pretty solid CDM. he's actually a pretty solid CDM. Very, very good in game. But yeah, that's pretty much it for like the main ones, I would say. I think we've covered most of the main ones. Pretty decent options as well. It's a free evolution, guys, right? So if you've been improving these cards as time has gone by, you're going to have a lot of very, very solid options to work with, right? So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video today. I'll catch you guys for the next one. We'll see if we can do some reviews tomorrow for some of the new transfer market cards and go from there, okay? Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.